Okay, guys, let's do some more rational equations today. Now, while I'm gone today, I'll be back tomorrow. That's what you're going to do, right? The new worksheet, which will be day 3, and I'll probably make a video on a couple of those problems and post it for you today as well, this morning. But you're going to work on day 3 in your notebooks while I'm gone, okay? I do not have a hard copy ready to be handed out by the sub today. But anyways, here we go. So let's take a look at problem number 1 here. So notice all of them have V's. So I know I'm going to times by V. And this one has a 2. So I'm also going to times by a 2. So the common denominator basically literally is all the combined pieces of your denominators. Anyways, let's see what happens here. Notice that the V's here cancel. And all I have is this 2 times 1, which is a 2, equals. Here, the V's cancel. I have to take 2 and distribute it with V minus 5. So that will be 2V minus 10 minus, watch your signs. Here, both 2 and V cancel. All I have is 1. So 2 will equal 2V minus 10 minus 1 is minus 11. And all we need to do now is solve it, right? I'm going to add 11. So 2V is 13. That means I'm going to divide by 2. So V must be 13 halves. Or 6.5 if you divide it and make it a decimal. But the fraction answer is fine. You don't have to divide it and make it a decimal. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. Now, as you can tell, this one's more complex. So what you have to remember is to find the common denominator, I need to make sure all my denominators are factored so I know all their individual factored pieces. So hopefully you can see right here, I'm going to do the X method. And I need a -4 for my product with this -3 for my sum. That means I have to do 1 times 4 to get the 4. Because to get the -3, I need to do 1 minus 4 to get -3. And 1 times -4 will be -4. So I know my factored form is going to be x minus 1, or sorry, x plus 1, and x minus 4. And I'm just going to go ahead, as you can see, I know that's going to be at least part of my common denominator. So I'm going to do x plus 1s with x minus 4s. Now, the only term that's denominator, I should say, that's different is x plus 1, but we already have it. We already have it here, right, in our common denominator. So our common denominator is actually x plus 1, x minus 4. So let's see what happens here. This factored is x plus 1, x minus 4. Same with this here. And what happens is the x plus 1 and x minus 4's cancel. All I have is 3 left over equals. Here, everything cancels. All I have is a 1 minus, over here, notice x plus 1 is the only thing that cancels, and I have to take 1 times negative, so 1 times x minus 4. So 3 will equal 1. Let's distribute the minus or minus 1. That's minus x plus 4. I'm ready to solve this, right? 3 equals 1 and 4 is 5 minus x. If I minus 5 both sides, that's a negative x equal to -2. That means if I do a negative, I know x has got to be +2. Okay, let's do this one here. Again, notice over here, I need to factor. This time I'm just doing a GCF. I hope you agree that p squared and p divide by p, and that'll leave me a p plus 5. So now that I have it factored, I am now ready to do my common denominator. This has a p, this has a p, so I know I'm going to do a p. This and this both have p plus 5s, so I'm going to do p plus 5s. So again, what's the common denominator? It's literally all the individual factored pieces of the denominator put together. So let's see what happens. The p cancels out with the p. I have p plus 5 times 1, which is p plus 5, equals. Here, the p plus 5s cancel. I have p times 4, which is 4p. Over here, the p and the p plus 5s both cancel. All I have is plus 3. So solving this, I'm going to go ahead and minus p both sides. So 5 will be 3p plus 3. I'm now going to minus 3 both sides. 3p will equal 2. That means when I divide by 3, p must be 2/3. Okay, now the next one I think will involve the quadratic formula. Here we go. So this one, notice that this has a 4 and an a, so I know I'm going to do 4a at least on all of my, as my common denominator. This one has a 4, already got that covered. Now, a is already covered, and the 2 divides into the 4. So my common denominator is 4a. Does everyone agree that 4a divides 4a? 4 divides 4a, and 2a divides 4a twice. So now that I have my common denominator, here notice the 4a's cancel. All I have is a minus 6 left over equals. Here only the 4's cancel. Now I do have this a that I have to times with a minus 4. So that's a squared minus 4a. So notice, guys, we have to know our distributive property very, very well. We have to know our quadratic formula as well as factoring. All right, anyways, finishing up here, I notice the a's cancel and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I have to distribute the 2 here. So I have 2a squared minus 12a plus 16. So we have a minus 6 equals, I'm going to put the a squared and the 2a squared together, that's 3a squared, minus 4a, minus 12a is minus 16a, plus 16. Hopefully I read my own writing correctly and I didn't make any silly mistakes. Let me just double check. 2a squared and a squared is 3a squared. Minus 12a, minus 4a is minus 16a, and a plus 16. Excellent. So guys, remember, this is an a squared. I need to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to minus a both sides, and I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And that means I will have a 0 equal to 3a squared. Minus 16 minus 1 is minus 17a. 16 and 6 is 22. Now, because I don't have my calculator ready to go and I want to save a little time, guys, I want to remind you of you can solve this with factoring, usually. So let's see if we remember. Remember, I have to take the first times the last. So that's 66. I need a minus 17 in the middle. Now, 22 and 3 do not make 17, so I need another combination that makes 17. How about 6 times 11 for 66? And now all I need to do is negative, negative to get negative 17. And I want to remind you, we will do this in class when I come back tomorrow and throughout the week. You can always use your calculator to divide until you find the right combination of numbers. But in our case, guys, we know that 0 is a minus 11, a minus 6. Now, I do need the 3 factor. So, I'm going to divide this by 3 so I can times that by 3. So we now have what we need. 0 is 3a minus 11 times a minus 2. Don't forget to do 6 divided by 3. So, what are our solutions? Well, here, that should be easy. 2 minus 2 is 0. Here, though, we know that 3a has to equal 11. Since 11 minus 11 is 0, that means a must be 11/3. Now, even though this video is running a little bit longer, let's do one more. So notice here, they both have k. This has a k squared. So I'm going to do a k squared for my common denominator. And these two have 4, so I have to do a 4 as well. So 4k squared is my common denominator. Let's see what happens. Here, k squareds cancel. Now I have to take this 4 here and distribute it. So 4k squared minus 4k minus 120. Here, the 4 and k squared with k leaves me k. So what I have here is a minus k. Don't forget there's a minus there. And 1k is, of course, k, so minus k equals. Here, the 4 and the k's cancel. That becomes a k, though. I have to distribute the k here, so that's k squared plus 4k. I got to make it equal 0, so I'm going to minus k squared. I'm going to minus 4k. So on the right, I know it's 0. On the left, 4 minus 1 is 3k squared. Minus 4 is minus 8k. Oh, minus k would be minus 9k, right? Minus 4 minus 1 is minus 9. And a minus 120. Now this one, I just want to remind you, just like the last one, you can use a quadratic formula. But since I don't have my calculator ready to go with me, I'm going to factor this. Now the first thing I do is I look at the numbers, guys. See how I can always divide by 3, 9, and 120. So I'm going to divide by 3 first. Again, does everyone agree? 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 120 divided by 3 is 40. So now notice how much easier this is to factor, guys. Let's do the x method. I need negative 40 with a negative 3. 8 times 5 is 40. To get negative 3, I need to do 5. Sorry about that. 5 minus 8. So 5 minus 8 is negative 3. 5 times negative 8 is negative 40. Perfect. So I know that k minus 8 and k plus 5 equals 0. That means for this one, that's just simply negative 5, right? Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. And right here, I know 8, because 8 minus 8 is 0. So these are my two solutions. Now, I hope I didn't go too fast, guys, but remember, with a video, you can always pause and rewind. This is definitely a video I would maybe take notes on, maybe even make flashcards off of. Anyways, that being said, guys, I'll see you in class tomorrow.